Lesson 2 Water. நீரின்றி அமையாது உலகெனின் யார் யாருக்கும் வானின்றி அமையாது ஒழுக்கு. Tirukkural says, if it be said that the duties of life cannot be discharged by any person without water, so without rain there cannot be the flowing of water. We can't survive without water. So we should preserve it for our basic needs and also for the needs of future generation. In this lesson, we will study about the sources of water and how to manage water. Next one, sources of water. Water is the most abundant substance on the earth. It fills the seas, rivers and lakes and covers more than 2/3 of the earth's surface. It also exists as snow and ice on mountains. The following are the sources of water: river water and lake water, sea water, underground water, well water, and finally spring water. First one, river water and lake water. River is a channel through which fresh water flows. The origin of river is usually hills or mountains. It flows towards ocean, sea and lakes. Lake is an area filled with water. Man-made lakes created when dam is built on a river is called a reservoir. Man-made lakes created when dam is built on a river is called a reservoir. As less amount of salt is dissolved in it, it is suitable for drinking and irrigation. Next one, sea water. Due to the presence of more amount of salt, sea water is called saline water. Due to the presence of more amount of salt, sea water is called saline water. It is not suitable for irrigation as well as drinking. Sea water has salinity of approximately 3.5% or 35 parts per thousand. Next one, underground water. During rainfall, part of the rainwater gets absorbed in the soil. It flows through various layers of the soil till it reaches hard rock, where it gets accumulated to form reservoir. This reservoir of water is the underground water. So during rainfall, part of the rainwater gets absorbed in the soil. It flows through various layers of the soil till it reaches hard rock, where it gets accumulated to form reservoir. This reservoir of water is the underground water. This water may contain soluble salts of calcium and magnesium. Underground water is made available for human use either as well well water or spring water. Underground water is made available for human use either as well water or spring water. Well water. When the earth's surface is dug deep, water reservoirs are found above the rocks. The depth of a well varies from place to place. Well water contains soluble impurities depending upon the nature of soil. Spring water. Sometimes the accumulator underground water applies pressure on the rocks and comes out of the earth's surface in the form of a spring from any available opening. So, the pressure applies on the rocks and comes out of the earth's surface in the form of a spring. That water in the form of a spring from any available opening. This water is called spring water. Spring water usually contains dissolved salts and minerals, but it is free from suspended impurities. Water cycle. The continuous movement of water from the earth to the atmosphere and back to the earth is known as water cycle or hydrologic cycle. So what is a water cycle? The continuous movement of water from the earth to the atmosphere and back to the earth is known as water cycle or hydrologic cycle. So other name of the water cycle is hydrologic cycle. Water cycle consists of the 4 stages. First stage, evaporation. The process in which water is changed into water vapor by the heat of the sun is called evaporation. Once again I will teach. The process in which water is changed into water vapor. That water is changed into the water vapor by the heat of the sun is called evaporation. It takes place from the surface of rivers, oceans, lakes and ponds. Plants also release water by transpirations. Okay. So what is evaporation ma? Water is changed into water vapor. Okay va? By the heat of the sun. Next one, condensation. The process of converting water vapor into water on cooling is called condensation. So, the process of converting water vapor into water on cooling is called condensation. So, water vapor in the atmosphere being lighter rises up and cools down. It further condenses to form tiny water droplets. Okay, it further condenses to form tiny water droplets. Precipitation. The water droplets join together to form clouds. The water droplets join together to form clouds. As they get cooler, the droplets become bigger and heavier and fall as rain. If the air is very cold, they freeze to fall as hail of snow. So precipitation means the water droplets join together to form clouds. As they get cooler, the droplets become bigger and heavier and fall as rain. If the air is very cold, they freeze to fall as hail of snow. Flowing back to oceans. Flowing back to oceans. Rainwater forms streams and springs which join together to form rivers. Rivers flow finally into the sea and ocean, thereby completing the cycle. So, flowing back to oceans, rainwater forms streams and springs which join together to form rivers. Rivers flow finally into the sea and ocean, thereby completing the cycle. Next one, water management. About 97% of total water available on the earth is too salty to be used for drinking and irrigation. The rest 3% of water is fresh water. Most of the fresh water, 68.7% of the total fresh water is frozen as ice caps and glaciers at 30.1% occurs as groundwater. By this, it is clear that a very small fractions of water is available for the use of human beings, animals and plants. Freshwater management. Water management is the activity of planning, developing and managing the optimum use of water resources. Water which is obtained naturally from ice sheets, ice caps, glaciers, icebergs, ponds, lakes, rivers, streams and underground are called freshwater. So water which is obtained naturally from ice sheets, ice caps, glaciers, icebergs, ponds, lakes, rivers, streams and underground are called freshwater. Freshwater is having low concentrations of dissolved salts. Nowadays, we don't get enough rainfall and except few. Most of the rivers are drained. So, we need to manage the available water. Next one, rainwater harvesting. The process of collecting rainwater from the rooftop of the buildings is called rainwater harvesting. So, what is rainwater harvesting? The process of collecting rainwater from the rooftop of the buildings is called rainwater harvesting. In this system, rainwater is stored into a storage tank for later use. The government of Tamil Nadu leads the nation in implementing rainwater harvesting program. It has made it mandatory for all houses and buildings in the state to install rainwater harvesting facility. Advantages. Rainwater harvesting can reduce flooding in the cities. Rainwater harvesting can reduce topsoil loss. Groundwater level can be increased. Groundwater can be conserved. And finally, it can improve plant growth. So, advantages. First one, rainwater harvesting can reduce flooding in the cities, can reduce topsoil loss. Groundwater level can be increased. Groundwater can be conserved and finally it can improve plant growth. Next one, farm ponds. A farm pond is a structure dug out on the earth. Structure dug out on the earth. It is usually square or rectangular in shape. Rainwater is stored in it for irrigation purposes. It is surrounded by a small bund which prevents erosions on the banks of the pond. So, farm ponds means structure dug out on the earth. It is usually square or rectangular in shape. Rainwater is stored in it for irrigation purposes. It is surrounded by a small bund which prevents erosions on the banks of the pond. Water is conveyed to the fields manually by pumping or by both. Okay. So in this topic we are learned sources of water. What are the sources of water? River water and lake water, spring water, sea water, underground water and finally well water. Then we are learned water management, freshwater management and rainwater harvesting, farm pond. Thank you.